guys, welcome to episode 11. So we're moving along. Definitely pumped out some extra ones over the all the politics and everything with the election and all that. Couple of quick mentions before we get into the main gist of this podcast, which is going to be a little bit of a celebration of the last year, I suppose. The Wombat State Forest petition that's got just under 2 weeks left on it, from memory, I think. Yep. So if you haven't signed that, or you're not too sure, get on there, sign that petition. Obviously, the more signatures, the better, the more influence it has with the politicians that are scared of losing votes. And Carly, you got the graphic for that, I think. The Emergency Services and Volunteers Levy protest on the 13th of May, which is tomorrow for us, but if you're watching this tomorrow, then it's today for you. That's at 11 a.m. on the steps of Parliament, or the Victorian Parliament in Spring Street. So, guys, if you can get there, get there. I'm still trying to work it so I can be there, but,
it's Carly difficult, isn't it?
It is. I don't know how many times I want to drive into Melbourne in 1 week. Once seems depressing enough.
Yeah, and it's to the same place, and
yeah,
like I really want to be there to support, but we've got to be there the next day for the debate in Parliament. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, look, we'll see how it all pans out, and but look, if you can get there, get there. There's a petition for that as well. I don't know whether that's still available to sign. I haven't.
It's in the group.
It's in the group. So yeah, guys, just be aware of that's all coming up, and that's look, for you guys that don't really understand what it's about. Basically, the government runs out of money because that's what governments do, and they're putting up taxes because when the government messes everything up, you and I pay. That's the short of it.
Yep. The government's so great. They're here to look after us.
But we might talk more about that next week. Because I think hopefully we got a fairly long episode today.
Yeah. Well, I've got a lot to go through, so.
Yeah. And so I think with that we'll move on to the main part of the episode.
Okay. So I thought a lot of people that have just started following us or just joined the group or whatever, they've just, I suppose you haven't really understood what we've done over the last year. So on May 7th, it was the anniversary of our group for when I started the group. So I've just put together some little videos with like everything that we've been doing, what we've accomplished, and we're just going to kind of do a bit of commentary along the way and explain things. I hope it doesn't go too long. But
so when you say we, you mean probably mostly you, because I'm using my iPhone, guys, so I can't really see all the stuff she's got up. So
I haven't got anything up yet.
Yeah, but I won't be able to see it once it does come up very well.
So I'll be doing a lot of talking.
Yep, so you'll be doing most of the talking and I'll nod and agree.
Okay. All right. So I'll go back. Sorry, this was the after the Druin consultation crap that they did. They put out a thing to say that, no, actually our local member, Cindy McLeish, she actually advocated for there to be a consultation of held at Alexandra, and it wasn't meant to be done. We weren't meant to get a consultation thing. So we were quite lucky to get that. And this was before my time, before I even knew about it, because I had no idea, even this night when I attended this thing, I had no idea what it was all about. So I'll just show. there was on May the 4th, there was we had 564 people turned up to find out what was going on. And we were basically asked in there, like, what do you want to see in your national park? And it was like, what the hell are you? And then they wouldn't answer questions, and it was just super seedy and really just, I don't know. It's just gave you a yuck, icky feeling. Like it gave me the ick at the time. But we were, we were given post-it notes to put on maps of like what we do in the bush. And it was like kindergarten. It was just so stupid. And like even the guy that I had with me, he owns a houseboat hire business. So he was, he does a lot with the shooters and everything and bush users. They hire his boat and go up into the bush. So I went with him, and he said to one of the guys, "I've got it." Well, there was all these signs everywhere saying no photography. Like you weren't allowed to take photos, you weren't allowed to have any type of recording device or anything. So typical me, I put my phone in my front pocket of my jacket because it was cold, and had the lens poking out the top. So most of it's black, but you can hear what's being said. And I'll have to put it back up in the group again. It was actually funny because my mate, he turns around and says, "Isn't this a bit childish? Isn't this a bit like kindergarten?" And the guy's like, "Well, yeah, but this is how we do it, and we take photos of everything, and we correlate it all and put it all into different sections and stuff." And we're just like, "That's going in the dumpster out the back. Like we know it." So it was, yeah, really seedy. Just gave me the ick. I actually, they started to catch on that I was recording, and so I made it. They were like, you could see that there was people starting to talk that were the consultation people. They were starting to like point at me and everything. So I made a mad dash for the door. I got to my car and quickly sent some screenshots to people just so that it was, recorded of what happened. But yeah, it was all very secretive and weird, and they wouldn't answer any of our questions. And and basically this is what started it all. If they had have just done the consultation properly, none of this would have happened. So this was May 4th. It took a couple of days. I was like, I'm not happy about this at all for my local community because Ilden. I was like, this is just not cool. And it so I started the Facebook group.
Well,
And
before we go to that, because I will try to put in something. So I
yeah,
think a couple of things with the Alexandra one. Obviously, I didn't actually go. I never even heard about it, and it was
yeah,
interesting because I was already on the fight against the Great Forest National Park, mainly trying to raise awareness and stuff through the Libertarian Party, which I was heavily involved with at the time, and that they were backing us up. But there never seemed to be much interest from the public on it, and I never knew about this consultation, which was in Alexandra. Which, I mean, I'm 2 minutes out of town, literally.
yeah.
So I found that very interesting. The other one was, of course, that they weren't asking whether or not you wanted a national park.
Oh yeah, no, it was what do you want to
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
How would you
So,
like it managed and everything? And we're like, what national park?
yeah. So I think
So yeah,
that gets you back up straight away when they're asking you what you want in the thing that you do not want.
and that doesn't exist. And you're
Yeah.
like, hang on. So yeah, I went home and I did some research and I looked up, what it was and everything. And I was like, wow, like this thing's gone. It's got a website. I had no idea how long it'd been going on for. And it was, pretty established. It looked like it was from the government. So at the beginning, we were fighting the government with it. And so, yeah, anyway, then I started this Facebook group, and I was going to call it Murrindindi Shire Residents Against the Great Forest National Park, because I was just like, I will get like, what, 200-300 people in from Ilden, Alex, maybe Thornton, Taggart, you know, that type of people. And we'll just have like a bit of a conversation about the consultation and what was involved and how it felt like a scam, really. And so I started this, and I made a couple of like banners and stuff. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And this was on the 7th of May. So it was a couple of days later. And I was just like, I'm just going to put this group up and we'll see. But then I ended up, Murrindindi Shire Residents Against the Great Forest didn't really sound that great. Not that Victorians Against the Great Forest National Park sounds any greater, but I thought, oh, well, if there's going to be other people from other shires, they're going to want to come in. I don't want it to be just Murrindindi Shire. So I made it Victorians. So that's where the name came from. And we haven't been able to change it since.
As it is, we have people from interstate that are on the page stuff as well anyway. So it could have just been
people from WA, like, yeah, Australians Against. But yeah, that was why I made it Victorians instead of Murrindindi. But it was just a decision. And then when I woke up in the morning, holy crap, there was already, in 24 hours, there was 2.2 thousand people in the group, and it grew by 1,000 people at least a day for the first 10 days. And then, you know, Facebook catches on and they see that something's happening, and then the censorship started. But we're now at 23.3K members, which is huge. But yeah, first 24 hours, 2.2 thousand people, which even surprised the crap out of me. And that's when my life actually completely got turned on its butt. Because all of a sudden I wasn't able to do anything in my normal life, because I was constantly having to, you know, vet people and go through people and make sure, you know, it just became a full-time job, especially that first week. Oh my God. But yeah.
And you're still not doing politics at that stage. Definitely no politics.
I was saying, no, there's no way we're talking about politics. This isn't political. And I actually, you know, was having a go at people for getting politically involved, because I'm like, we're not in politics. And so then anyway, I ended up getting kind of brought in to the, you know, the Bush Users Group United. They had a bit of a chat that they had going, and they kind of brought me up to speed. And we found out there was a petition that they had started with Melina Barth not long before I'd started the group, and it only had like 2,000 signatures on it. And we were like, how do we make this huge? Like, we need to make this huge. We need to get and then we're looking up the records for the biggest Victorian petition that's ever been put into Parliament. And it was the suffragettes, the women's right to vote. And it was in 1891. And that was, 30,000. And so we were like, well, we need to get 30,000 signatures. And that seemed like it was never going to happen. This was when it said 40, when we had 24,000 signatures. That was after the 4-wheel drive show. So at the beginning, when we first started, it was 2,653 signatures. So yeah, there was a lot of people getting behind that, a lot of people pushing it, which was great. But we did end up getting 40,300.
Yep. Which is, so that's the second largest, is that right, in Victorian?
First, biggest.
Oh, okay. I thought we were biggest. Second place. Okay.
Nah, No, the New South Wales one's the second biggest. Ours is the biggest.
Very good.
Yeah, yeah. So then everyone started, getting involved. They started making their own signs and everything because we had there was no awareness of what was going on. Nobody knew about what this whole thing was,
Mm.
Nobody knew what Great Forest National Park was. And then I looked back on it and they'd been pushing it for 14 years. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And people just got active and they started making their own signs, and the group just kept growing and growing and growing, and people were going, what's this, this national park that's going on? So we were all about education and making signs, and then I made our first flyer, which had the QR code on it for the petition, and we ran with this flyer the whole way through, and you probably, people would have seen them up in the bush and everything laminated, and it just explained everything about what we were looking to lose, and and the QR code went straight to the petition, so that was handy to have.
Yeah.
And so then we had the Druin rally, which was already, the funny thing is, that was organised by Wayne Farnham, and that was already organised, from the Liberals.
Yeah.
So he had already organised the rally somewhere before our group started. So,
yeah.
and he was making it so he was showing that the Liberal Party were against this park happening. So he had John Pursuto there. There was a whole heap of speakers. 4-Wheel Drive TV. Simon was there. Heaps of people were there. PMAV. But we ended up with a massive, massive crowd at Druin because we put it out in the group, and everyone was, oh, I'm there. And that was my first little taste of kind of, I hate to say this word, but I'm going to say it. It was my first taste of activism.
Being active. Just being active. We can do that.
Being active.
Being politically active.
Yes. Anyway, so we ended up with, I think there was like 1,000 people there, and we made it onto the news, and so that was pretty pretty exciting. And then I met Simon for the first time at that rally, and he came up to me. He sent me a message, and he's like, "Where are you?" at the end of it, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's like a big TV star. Like, what does he want to talk to me for?" And then he pulled up, and he's just this absolutely just normal, genuine bloke, just walks up to me car, starts talking to me about how we've got to do this. We're going to start, really pushing back on this, and how can we do it, and blah, blah, blah. What can he do to help, and everything. And I'm like, but you're on TV. Why are you talking to me? and he's been with me ever since. Like, he is such a genuine dude. Like, so much love for him and Honey. Honey was there on that day too. So they've been in this from the beginning with us. They're absolute legends. And
it's a nice vehicle he's got there. You'd hate to roll it.
He's still, but he's well, now he's got no excuse not to let me drive it now, because he still hasn't let me drive it. But if he rolled it himself, what's worse that I could do?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that to him. Well, at least I wouldn't roll it.
I wouldn't be too sure.
I might get hit.
Yes. Wouldn't want to get hit by Simon. He's got
he's got guns on his guns. He's like, I just ate a little baby for breakfast.
Right. Well, the Greens are going to be using that against him for years to come. Thanks for that little clip there, Carly.
He won't even care. He loves it. So yeah, anyway, so people got active. There were signs going up everywhere. Like that's not my sign. I think that was from the top of my head. I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been Dale. I really hope it was Dale. Apologies if it's not, but they were putting them up everywhere. So and so I got to making them. I filled my lounge room with signs, and then Rob and I got out in the middle of the night with our head torches on, and it was midnight, trying to not get caught putting up all these signs, because this is like bad what we're doing. Like,
yeah, but we don't care.
Well, I don't care now, but
Yeah.
at the time I was like, that's not something that I've ever done before. I've never put signs up about something so yeah, we were like kind of like commandos, and we borrowed we had to borrow your postal thing.
Oh, that's the Star Picket Ram. Yeah.
Yeah, to put them into the thing. So yeah. Yeah, so just people just started getting active, and yeah, that's David Carr from Yay. So he's got, I think he's still got all of his homemade ones on the back of his car. But yeah, people just started to get active. This is the houseboat business. I have to go back to that because that was funny. He's got signs on there, no Great Forest National Park, on the back of his houseboat, doing a promotional video for his business. So yeah, that was good. Then we needed some way of fundraising, because we had no money. There was nothing, funding this. So Glenn from South Gippy Signs was a friend of mine from high school, and he was like, I can help you out. Like, we can make some stickers, and so we ended up getting our first round of fundraising stickers, and we had the community forum, our first community info forum, so where we were going to talk to community members about what was actually happening. And so we had the first one in Yay, and we filled the hall. There was that many people there. It was so great. Basically sold out of our stickers that we just got. We ordered 300. We basically sold out that night. Like, it was crazy. But it was good because we were able to, tell people what this was about, what's the good side, what's the bad side, and people could ask questions. And it was a really good interactive experience with people.
Yeah, and look, I think that it was the things like that were the big things leading up, where people could get involved, and we could find out who's doing what and who's got what skills. And so, to everyone who organised that, obviously, like, huge effort. Some people have never been involved in such things before, like yourself. I was meant to MC that event, but I pulled out for, what will I say?
You had issue.
You
had personal stuff
family
going on.
reasons. Yeah.
Yeah,
And but then Gnomes, who didn't know much about this issue, I mean, she just stepped up sort of last minute. It was the last
she did
hour.
so good.
I called her and said, look, I don't want to make Carly MC this because she's still getting used to this whole public speaking. And I know that you can manage this stuff. And she's like, yeah, no worries, we'll do that.
She did it so easily.
Yeah, she's quite good at that stuff. But to people like that, that's where, like, just find your strengths, and we're starting that team building, working out what works well together, and and that was sort of the start of it, I think.
Yeah.
Real team building.
And beautiful Norma brought the stickers down from South Gippsland to the event. So she drove hours and hours and hours. So she's so beautiful. And then, then we got onto the website, and we were like, what are all these businesses that are supporting this Great Forest National Park, and one of them was actually Beechworth Bakery in Hillsville. I was like, why would they be supporting this? And so we ended up sending out all these emails to these businesses saying, hey, do you know that your logo's on this website, and do you know what you're actually advocating for? And most of them had no idea. And they were quite upset about it, and were contacting the website to get their stuff taken off there. So then we had more stickers printed. I was sending them out myself at this point, and there was like 70 envelopes a day I was sending out. And I was having to handwrite everything, and it was mental. But it was so much fun because I was getting the stickers out there to people, and then they were posting them in the group and showing them on their cars, and it was fun.
Yeah, I still love it when I drive down like Lilydale Way, particularly if I drive down there. I always look on the back of the four-wheel drives, and quite often I'll spot some of those stickers, and it's like, yeah.
I get a little proud moment all the time. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
But my first spotto of a sticker was Hillsville, and it was, I won't say his name, but it was Chimney Chiru. It was on his van, and I was like, oh my god, my first spotto, like, and so I've like remembered him this whole way through. But it was crazy amount of work getting those envelopes out. It was like 6 to 8 hours a day of just sitting there doing stickers in envelopes. It was nuts. More envelopes. And then so we ended up sending a big one up to Simon. He put it on the truck straight away. So it's now in every episode of everything that he does on TV.
Yeah, four-wheel drive TV, guys.
Four-wheel drive TV. He's got lots of different shows, but he's the real deal, and he's not actually on TV. And so our sticker is always on those episodes, which is, I'm so proud of it every single time I watch them. And so
it looks different on its side, that sticker.
Stop hanging it on him.
Oh, I can't help myself.
So then All Terrain Action, because we had no money, like we had no resources. It was just like me, Leonie, just basically a couple of people that were, doing something. We didn't know what.
Yeah.
We didn't know what at the time. We were like, what is this? What are we doing? Well, let's just roll with it. And so All Terrain Action actually contacted me, and they offered to make a website for us, so we were a bit more legit and could get more traction. And this is like a $5,000 website to be set up, and he made it for us and donated it to us off just for being against this park and for wanting to support us. So massive shout out to them once again, Chris and the team. They've been so amazing. So then and then we started selling our merch, and they took over fulfillment for that too, because I couldn't keep doing envelopes. And my local post office wouldn't have been very happy with me in the beginning if I had have been sending out the orders that we were getting. But I have now changed that over to a new site. We do have a new merch site that I am actually doing myself now, but I'll put that in the description at the end.
Yep.
And then I turned Rob into a merch model.
Isn't it good to know your partner's model material?
He wasn't happy with it. He wasn't happy doing it. He was like, oh, right.
Models are always difficult to work with. That's all right.
But now he wears it. He wears stuff like the merch clothes everywhere.
Yeah.
It's funny. And then, so All Terrain Action took over fulfillment. So we were so grateful that they did that, because it was so much help at the time. But now I'm able to take that over and let them continue on with their actual business that they get paid to do. So I wanted to, take that stress off them and all that. So then we had
they've had their own mishaps and have vehicles to fix.
Yeah.
I haven't got to pay out on Simon. They've got to cop it a bit too.
Yeah. No, they copped it in the other episode though. So
yeah, I know, but I never want to stop giving people a hard time, especially by respect.
Okay, all right. So then we had the Mansfield rally that was set up by the Libertarians, and I remember I was like, "That's a political party. I don't want to be involved in politics. This has nothing to do with politics." And I was like, we're not doing this with a political party. Like, no, like, and it was really, really strange, because I had no idea about politics, and I had no idea how to tackle this. But then you guys had already started pushing back against this and everything. And were you involved with me at that time?
That Mansfield rally, I was the head organizer of that one with the Libertarians.
Yeah, and you had no, that wasn't the one with Topher. Yes, it was the one with Topher.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
And then there was another one they did later, which I was involved with, but I wasn't the head organizer. And yeah, that was about it then. I think shortly after those two, I started leaning away from the Libertarian Party and more into supporting you. But I do remember at this time there was a lot of tension between you and me, because I'm trying to say, no, we need the political parties involved here. They've got their own place, their own role.
I knew better.
Fights. And you're like, oh, bloody political parties. It's not politics.
I was like, and this is that's another way of like explaining how we morphed. Really, it was learning on the go. Like, we went from fighting green groups to fighting the government to fighting green groups, not being political, being overly political, not being it was just insane. Just trying to work out how we fought this and what was the best way of doing it.
And for the record, so I'm very proud of that rally, because that's the first thing like that I organized. I was very happy with it.
It was very good. There was a big turnout. I remember standing there shaking like a leaf. I was so cold. But then I got up on stage to speak, and I was still shaking like a leaf. Was that King Lake that oh no, this was my first
Mansfield.
This was my first public speaking, and oh my God, my hands were like this the whole time, my sheet of paper, and I was so embarrassed because Topher had just been before me, and Topher's just like, yeah, hey, yeah, everyone, how's everyone going? And like, he's so good at public speaking, and I'm just like, hello everyone, I'm here. I can have a laugh at it now, but at the time I was mortified. I had never done public speaking before, ever.
The thing is 90% of people in the crowd know that they're going to be the same, if not worse. And so, yeah, we get nervous about public speaking, but actually people are pretty forgiving if your voice is a bit shaky, or I think
my whole body was shaking.
I dropped my notes. My hands weren't working. I was a bit nervous. I dropped my notes on the ground. Like, well, I'm going to have to go without notes. So someone passed them up to me. But I think people, they're fine with that stuff. You're about the cause.
I had just never done anything like this ever. So
you did well.
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy. And then we made it on the news again. I should actually I'll try and let's see what my skills are like here.
Protested in Mansfield against the proposed Great Forest National Park. Objectives fear the proposed park would create an area larger than the AC.
We want to make sure that we stand up against that, and the way to do that is to make lots of noise, and part of that is by turning up, and you turned up today.
This state forest is
Jordan.
for all Victorians. That country and city people should be able to enjoy.
David and Jordan have been so supportive. It's been absolutely great.
Yeah, I was wondering, so when Tim Quilty was in, when did he get out? 2022, I think he was out of Vic Parliament. He was a big fighter for all your outdoor hobby groups and all this sort of stuff. And I sort of wondered what would happen to the Victorian branch of the party with David trying to defend that stuff. And David, I would say he stepped up to the plate really well.
He did.
Happy.
He did. He did great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so then my pop passed away. He was a long-term resident of Kevington, which is part of the proposed area. So that really, really lit it ignited my anger and everything. Like, our family has owned the Kevington Hotel for 80 years or something, being the pools. So we grew up going up to Kevington and everything and visiting them. And so, yeah, when Pop passed, I was like, I'm doing this for you, Pop. I'm not letting this happen. So then we started to expose the stupid lies that these people were still saying, like the zip line in Talangi that had already been said that it would never go ahead. It couldn't get a permit. They were still advertising it that's what would happen. Yeah. And so we were just starting to put out the obvious.
Yeah, you just can't let the truth get in the way of a good lie.
But the thing is, they went unvetted for so long. People just believed what was being said. And it wasn't until we started pulling apart what they were saying, we're like, no, that's not true. Like, yeah. And then the personal attacks came from the Green folks. They were fun. That was when I had to when they started hanging it on me for being a houseboat cleaner. Like, when you start doing personal attacks, that's when you know that you're getting to them.
So what's that big criticism of you that you've got a job? Don't you know how to do something?
I don't remember what that said. It's too small for it to even. But this woman, she's a well-known activist who her and her daughter go down to Tasmania all the time. She's a doctor in Lilydale, and she was hanging it on me for being a cleaner, and everyone following a cleaner. Funny how
I think how pompous they sound. Like, that is.
It's funny how someone who my thing is, look, I went to uni. I was almost a Div 1 nurse. COVID happened. I don't want to do it anymore. That's my personal story. I did 10 years of nursing. So you can hang it on me for whatever you want to do. Like, I don't care. It doesn't faze me. But the way that she was saying it, it was like, why are all these people following her for being when she's just a cleaner and everything? And I'm like, you're a doctor and nobody's following you. So
because you're not full of bull dust.
Yeah, well, I still have to make an appointment with the good doctor. I've been meaning to. She's down my partner's where their family lives, so I might have to accidentally need to go to the doctor there one day. So they went.
She gives you.
So yeah, but these green groups, they were not happy that we held a forum at Mount Evelyn, and we also had Renee Heath from the Liberal Party. She came and she spoke, and we had a full house again. Renee was amazing. She's so beautiful.
I've had some conversations with her. She's a very when the state election comes around, these are the Liberals I'm going to be telling people to get behind.
Yep, 100%. She is a good Liberal.
Absolutely.
And we had Jason from the PMAV. This was his cheeky little photo that he was getting with all the girls. So it's Leonie and Renee and me, and he's got this big smile on his face. But yeah, we filled the room, and I got to turn the thing up. Because this was when they started getting nasty. The green groups, they really started to get nasty towards me, and so so I got new security cameras that I used to scare the crap out of Rob all the time. Because you can just sit there on your phone, and if somebody's walking past, you just turn the alarm on. Oh, they were good fun. Oh, they are good fun. I still use them every now and then. When Rob's mates come over, I'm like, go away. He's not home.
Still got that fire extinguisher just in case.
Yeah. And then we started preparing for Woods Point, which was that was next level. Then my baby niece turned 1, and I finally made our page because everyone was like, "Where?"
Did you just brush past Woods Point that quickly?
No. There's a big thing on Woods Point. That was just preparing for Woods Point.
Okay.
And then I finally made our page, and we think we've now got 2,000 and something followers on it, but it's just where I put the stuff that's really important out of the group so that people can keep an eye out on important stuff without going down in the group and getting lost. Yeah. So, we got heaps of posters printed. We did. Leonie did a heap of interviews with these people that are all up at like Walhalla and Nuji and all that, how their businesses were going to be affected. So we got like first-hand experience of what these people think of this proposal, and none of them had been consulted. None. They were basically finding out what was going on from Facebook and from our Facebook group, and they were like, "What the hell?" So I uploaded them all to YouTube, and the people have been watching them. So people are seeing that these business owners aren't happy. And then we got busy for the National 4x4 show, which was insane that we were going to be doing that. And we had our stall set up and it had our little logo there. I was excited until it happened, and I was like, I want to go home.
Big Kev, I'm excited.
No, but then I so wanted to go home. I hate Melbourne. But it's just crazy. So we got busy spreading the word. There was so many of us. We had like a little roster of people who were coming in and volunteering their time, which was amazing because all of our feet hurt. We were all losing our voices because it was 3 days. So at the end of it, we actually had All Terrain pretty much take over for us because I had to go home. I was just so wrecked. I couldn't do the last day. So
people, they've got
Chris
to learn about this. If you don't know about this, to get information and support stopping.
Don't close off our parks. We need to keep full driving, guys. Make sure you support it. Get online, sign the petition.
There you go.
It was lovely. So we reached thousands of people. There was, I think, it was like 70,000 people for the whole event that came through those gates.
Yeah, they
So
did that right.
it was so then it was time for Woods Point. It was basically the next weekend. Like, it was crazy for a bit there.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was nuts. Yeah, so then it was time for Woods Point.
Every four-wheel driver, camper, hunter, fisherman, hiker, if you enjoy the great outdoors, just stop and listen to this, all right? We're making a difference. They're taking our high country. They're not taking it easy, legends.
But I'll tell you what, the bloody forests have not been saved. So guys, how about joining me and a massive amount of four-wheel drivers in Victoria as we head to Woods Point this Sunday? Guys, come along. We're meeting at 9 a.m. at Warburton. I want to see you there.
Oh, so those videos, they make me tear up. Like, they didn't have to do that stuff. Like, Simon didn't have to do that on his platform. You know, Bush Culture, Marcus, he didn't have to do that on his platform. He's famous on TikTok. You know, it meant so much.
Like, people don't realise probably the cost that is to them when it comes to getting sponsors for the work and everything they do. They know when they come out against something or for something, and the political
they lose
space,
sponsors, they lose.
It can get in the way of making things happen for them. So for them to do that, like, that's big. You know,
it shouldn't
go. It shouldn't go unrecognised.
It meant the world to me, and it still does. And I'm in contact with both of them constantly still. I'm actually doing a podcast with Marcus this week on Sunday.
You're cheating on me, Carly.
No, on the Hunting Connection podcast with Zach. It's going to me, Zach, and Marcus are getting on. So it's
been
but this was just
podcast a bit.
This was just so incredible. There was a 2-kilometer long convoy of four-wheel drives. Thousand people at Woods Point. So we had 1,000 people at Woods Point. The VNPA years before this had done a thing to say that they wanted the Great Forest National Park, and they said, we love parks. They got 300 to 400 people there with paid for buses from the city out to Mount Donna Buang or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they provided lunch and everything like that. And then we looked at ours, and it was like, we had 1,000 people come from that. Some people drove 8 hours there to get to Woods Point.
Yep.
Just to be there. And then they were driving 8 hours back a couple of hours later after we'd done it. Like,
all at their own expense.
That will be my favorite part of this was
Woods fair Point. Though, a little bit, like, you know, to get 400 of these people to show up would be amazing, because they're so scared of trees and bugs and.
Oh, you see how they're on a mowed path.
They're staying right away from anything that looks like it could be a bush.
Yeah. So we've got no more parks in the middle of a street where we, you know, may or may not have had permits and stuff like that, but they go up and do this on a mowed grassy land where it's obviously been cleared. Like, the hypocrisy is just crazy. It's nuts.
Forest doesn't normally look like that.
No, and we did that specifically up at Woods Point because Woods Point is going to be negatively affected massively if this goes ahead. So they're 100% behind us. So we wanted to get 1,000 people up there. We had no idea there was going to be 1,000 people, but it was so good for their business. And they've just been so supportive of us this entire time. So can't say enough of Carly and is it Luke? Yeah, Luke. They're just beautiful.
And they make good coffee.
They do make good coffee.
Into national parks.
Then we got Jacinta Allen talking about this.
We've got an opportunity, Tom. The end of native timber harvesting has required us to have a look at the land that used to be harvested and how it's going to be best used for the future. And I want to make sure that as we look to the future, that those areas that must be protected, must be conserved because they are absolutely precious, should be, but we've also got to get the balance right in making sure that our beautiful great outdoors continues to be accessible for all Victorian families to enjoy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if someone wants to go four-wheel driving, they can do it, I believe, in a state forest, but they can't do it in a national park. So if you convert the state forests into national parks, you'll be restricting their use.
And that's why we've got a task force having a look at what's the different land uses and categorisations going forward. Because I know many families enjoy getting out on weekends. We've got September school holidays coming up. Many families will want to go away camping, fishing, as you say, four-wheel driving, but also, or just walking, going out and walking the dog in our beautiful parks. And we want to make sure that we get the balance right, that outdoor recreation activity continues to have a place in the future use of our parks here in Victoria.
I'll have to pause. That was amazing to get her talking about that, because she had not said a thing before that. Before Woods Point, no one would report on it. We had no real media representation, no nothing, and then all of a sudden it was just out in the open.
Yeah, well, there was, like we said before, there's those couple little news articles that was it.
Yeah, like on the local Standard and stuff like that.
Woods Point kind of exploded it, and there's a lot of different radio stations and things talking about it. And look, good on her for coming out and having a response to the public. Like you're meant to represent Victorians, and you hear a bunch of Victorians are angry. She responded, so credit to her for that.
I haven't heard her on there for a while, though. Have you?
No, but then I don't really.
Anyway, so then 4-Wheel Drive TV did an episode for us. I'm going to link the episode in the description of this because it's long, but this was the little teaser for it. So I'll turn it right up because this was like, I couldn't believe this. This was a huge win. All done by Simon and his team for us, but we didn't pay him anything. We didn't do anything. He literally just did it for us.
We're on a very different adventure. This is an issue for all Australians. We've met up with a bunch of like-minded Australian four-wheel drivers. We're standing up against this great national park.
Basically trying to stop the government from locking us all out.
If the changes happen, everyone will be affected.
Everybody just wants people to understand what it is that is at stake here.
I would hate for this just to vanish simply because we lose all our state forests in this area.
We stand here today as Australians fighting for all of us. It's not just about this specific national park. It's all about our civil liberties and our freedom.
That was just, it brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah, that was a bit of a game changer, that one.
It was a very proud moment.
And just to clarify, because people listening, when you say us, you mean us as in the movement, and just in
the
case
cause.
Yeah. So someone did it for us, the people, and again, risking possibly some sponsorships and things like that. Not at no cost to him. A lot of work and also a lot of risk. So
he took a lot of risk. Yeah, 100%. So, so then we had Jacinta Allen coming out saying that she won't put padlocks on our forests. She just said that all at the Bush Summit. So it was all, getting, and that was the Herald Sun and everything. So we were getting good media coverage at this stage, which was great. And then it all started to fall apart with parks. So like the Labor guts the timber towns to deliver Great Forest National Park. Peter Hunt from the Weekly Times, he has been amazing with his coverage of this whole issue. Real hats off to him. He's been great. Then we found out about Nature Positive and how it would affect how it would affect the implementation of this park, because basically now, and you know, we thought it was gone. Basically now that it's going to be back because we got a Labor government, that under the Nature Positive as it stands now, with the Greens influencing it for extra controls, that because the leadbeater possum is on the extinction list, it will mean that areas have to be treated differently because there's an extinction animal there.
Endangered's the right word, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. So, so then we ended up, I made this graphic, and after she said she wasn't going to put padlocks in our forests, I made this graphic and got people to put it all over her socials. And I said, ask Jacinta Allen how she's going to not lock up the forests and make them national parks while sticking with the 30 by 30 and Nature Positive in Australia, because it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So then we started.
She's not signed up to the 30 by 30. That's the federal government. But other than that, I mean.
But it's Labor, so
yeah,
she knows. She knows. So then I got interviewed for an article. That's not. So then I really started looking into the Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, and that's the 30 by 30. So that's the lockup of 30% of Australia by 2030 for conservation. This was when it really started to get, you know, pretty heavy. Was when we started working out that there was, you know, big global initiatives and targets that we're fighting against here, which it really is. Where these are agreements that we weren't asked our opinions on them or anything. They just went and signed us up for them. So
that's something funny in Australian politics, is most of our worst policies come from these foreign agreements. But anyway.
So stupid. I'm so angry about it. But anyway, we've learnt all about it. We know all about it. We know how to combat it in some ways, and there are some interesting ways that it could be. I don't know. We've got to see what happens with the next government coming. Oh well, what the government's going to do. We've just got to wait and see. But there are ways to fight. So then I started getting into the Central West investigation, which I've got that much reports printed off. Oh my God. I am not saving trees at my house. So I got into all that, which that's to do with Wombat and Lurderdurg and all of those areas. And that's when we started talking to Wendy Lovell, and the petition started for Wombat, which is still going. So again, will be linked in the description. Go and sign it, please. So then there was more articles coming out about how they're gutting parks and DECA, and we're like, well, what the hell? Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you? Oh, there was another one for things. Why would you be gutting staff and resources if you're about to, you know, make all these big new national parks? It just doesn't make sense. So then anyway, as people like to say, they're like, you're just a Facebook group, you can't do anything. Well, as a Facebook group, we got a meeting with the Environmental Minister, Steve Demopoulos, and Leonie, Daryl and I went and met with him at a pub and we had a talk with him about it all. We basically we came up with some solutions that he was very, very happy with what we had to say and that we actually did have solutions to problems, you know. So he wanted a bit of a report to be made up and with all our ideas of how to move forward without turning things into national parks. So we've done that. We haven't given it to him yet. That's this week. But yeah, he was very impressed with a lot of what we had to say. The only thing was that we needed to make things a little bit more positive, and I get that. So that's when we started with the new
the new logo. Well, the new
Bush user, not a Bush abuser logo.
Yeah,
that's when we started with that, because leave our state forests alone was like no compromising, no nothing. Where what we're saying with the bush users, not bush abusers, is that we're willing to, you know, help with education, stuff like that, to make the government's job a bit easier, you know, like that's all that's what it comes down to. If we can make the government's job easier, they're gonna go with what's easiest. So yeah. Then the Great Forest National Park saw how in debt Victoria is and wanted them to issue green bonds, which would put the Central Highlands on the international market, basically. So they want to sell out the Central Highlands. But you guys make of that what you will. She is a lovely lady. So the future of the proposed park is far from a sure thing, with strong opposition from groups including hunter and four-wheel drivers. I was right at the top of the article. But it's never going to happen. Not with green bonds. No. Then free camping started.
Oh yeah.
We won't even bother going into that, but that was just a bit of a landmark moment when free camping started.
I think it's worth mentioning though that was the government hearing a lot of bush users not happy and trying to say, hey, we can be your friend.
Take this. Yeah, take this.
Yeah. And that's a good sign.
It is. It's good, but they got it completely wrong. Like they couldn't have got it wrong any worse. But it's pretty funny.
I don't know. They could have done the Great Northern, got it wrong.
Oh, that's coming up too. Then the hound hunters, they had our information, our flyers and everything at one of their events that they went to, which was beautiful of them. The Victorian hound hunters have been amazing towards us. Then we started getting the legal notices from the Great Forest National Park, because we were contacting their business supporters and they were removing their logos, and that they were starting to put out legal threats that we shouldn't be contacting these people and all this. And it was like 3 days after that, they're all of a sudden their business supporters page was gone.
Yeah.
It's been wiped. So when you click on business supporters now, it goes back to their homepage.
They seem to really like the legal threats.
Oh, but the thing is, they've worked out that they can't get anywhere with them.
Yeah.
And they're just empty crap, and I just don't care.
Yeah. Well, they're just trying to scare you because you're just a cleaner. They figured you'd be easy to scare.
They don't realise that I worked for a solicitor for 5 years writing those letters.
Yeah.
So. This is the stupidity of people putting me into some. I always said, don't underestimate me. I never gave out, details about myself, but I said, don't underestimate me. I'm not saying that I'm super smart or anything like that, but just because I'm a cleaner, or just because I cleaned houseboats, or, that was a lifestyle choice. That wasn't, because I'm not smart enough to do anything else, basically. But yeah, I let them run with that for as long as they wanted.
Fighters shouldn't be underestimated.
Don't ever underestimate me.
It's especially when you got heart and you want to win. That's a hard fighter to deal with.
Yeah. Don't ever underestimate me. And it makes me fight harder because I'm gonna prove to you that you're wrong. So yeah. So then there was more about this was right before Christmas. All these workers were being told they're being laid off. Basically, they wouldn't have jobs, and we still don't know what that was really about. We know that it's because the state's broke, but also, I don't know what that was all about. More parks cut 51 services. Premier pushes for more cuts. It was back-to-back articles. And then Labor's mis and disinformation bill came in. And we fought that. We had the email campaign, and we were fighting hard on that, and we made a little dent in it. We filled a few MPs' inboxes.
Yeah.
But that's definitely going to come back in some shape or form.
Yeah, it'll probably get through this time round. So
yeah, so be ready. We're going to have to start talking in code.
Well, that's if the social media companies will let us talk about politics at all.
Yeah, so this coming through, even if they tried to jam this through in a guillotine through the Senate, that's how much they didn't want it debated. They didn't want people to know about it. So for the future, we're just going to be keeping a real. I'm going to be watching that bill like crazy because we have to fight it.
And keep an eye out for those email campaigns when we put them out, because sometimes they only give you 24 hours.
And we need you to just, I give you every email address and I give you what to say. You can put in your own stuff. You can add in your own flair as long as it's respectful. Always keep things respectful when you're emailing MPs and everything, because otherwise they just get dismissed and ignored. But
well, they also get their backs up and then they don't want to help you.
Yeah, and we do need their help. So if I do a call out to do an email campaign, I mean it. I need you guys to just go bang, 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 bang. Because that's how we get noticed as a group. So don't ignore those things. Otherwise we've lost already. But anyway, so that's coming up again. More of the Parks Victoria cutting, and then the green groups started carrying on about that the Allen government haven't legislated wombat, and that they said that they were going to do it in October and they haven't done it, and they had all these crying greenies everywhere,
They're
saying
my
that
kind of greenie.
You what?
They're my favourite kind of greenie.
Oh, the crying ones. Oh, they're always crying. So this was like, what, 4 years after that had been declared that it was going to be made a national park. They still hadn't legislated it. And we're like, why? So it's worth a fight. So yeah, that's where the wombat petition and everything's coming from. But these are just hilarious. I love it. Every time they put something up that they're having a sook, oh my God, it makes my day.
Look, I think the message there, though, is, so when this first came up, and I'm sure you heard it as well, a lot of people are going, look, there's no point fighting, like this stuff's a done deal.
Oh, I got told that in the beginning.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was told, even with my group and everything, don't bother. It's a done deal. Even at that meeting, I was told that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point. It's a done deal. Just, it's already done. It's already, and people, that's where you can't listen to those types of people that will say that, because it's never a done deal. Look at what we've done. So it was May that they had this consultation. It was meant to be July last year that the consultation information was all put together and given to Demopoulos to make a decision on the Central Highlands. We pushed that back to the point where it was November before he got the report, because they had to go through all the consultation stuff properly.
Yep.
Funny that. And now he's not making a decision until this month. Well, yeah, somewhere around the end of this month, if he does. It could
he
even
decide to push it back further.
It could even be another 3 years, like Wombat. But you know, you can never give up on these types of things. If you see something that you want to fight for, you fight for it, because it's never a done deal.
That's it.
More parks. Oh, then that's when Parks, when the CEO got the arse because of the Arapalis stuff.
Yes.
And yeah, that was a bit of a crap show. They've there's a lot of climbing groups now that we're involved with as well, who are just as angry about situations. And yeah, just
it's the same fight in a different part of the map, really. It's about our access to public land.
And it just bolstered our group and our reach, and you know, everyone joining together and uniting, rock climbers with bush with hunters, you know, everyone working together,
prospectors,
everyone working together
riders,
for the one cause.
People just want to be able to take their dog with them when they go camping, for goodness sake, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty funny. Oh, then I started getting into the green group's financials, and I came up with a few things. I made a video about it. I asked questions. I didn't make any assertions. I did it I haven't received any legal notices from them, surprisingly. But as soon as that went out, all of a sudden the personal attacks started. That's when the founder of this park started to get onto to X, and she was saying that I'm a rage baiter and I'm paid by forestry to bring logging back.
I want some of that money.
Yeah, to bring logging back, and you know, I'm doing what my handlers are telling me to do. And what else was it? That they must be very happy with my performance and everything. And I'm like, honey, I'm not backed by anyone. I'm just representing the voices of bush users who actually hate your proposal and hate your idea and hate you. So that's where it's coming from. Normal, everyday people, not businesses and corporations and everything, or the government, like you've been used to fighting in the past, and they've won all the time because the government can't do anything. Like, they're idiots, really. They should have, with all the forestry stuff, all they had to do was go and fix the RBA.
Yeah.
Like, it's so dumb. Oh no, the RFA. What am I thinking? RBA, blank.
I find it interesting that these people don't think you could possibly have any success by just talking to people and getting their support. They think you have to have the money, and that's because that's how they operate.
Yeah, 100%. And it really reflected exactly what they stand for. I just can't read. What's a rage baiter from an anti-parks group has been stalking and cyberbullying me.
Oh, poor God, that's so sad. You're so mean, Carly.
She's such a victim. She's such a victim. For one, I don't know where she lives at all. I don't care. And I have her blocked on every social media outlet ever. And bullying me to such the extent that I no longer feel safe.
Oh.
I am now compelled to to involve the police. I am not new to this. I'm not new to this behavior, but this person is, what does it say?
I can't read it on my little
Oh,
phone.
I'm going to have to read it off my phone. Because, it's so funny. It is so, when these came up, I could not stop laughing. It just shows.
It wasn't all that long ago that victim card that she's pulling there would have worked out really well for it. But the tide's changing. People are sick of that crap.
Yeah. No. So a rage baiter from an anti-parks group has been stalking and cyberbullying me to such an extent that I no longer feel safe. I am now compelled to involve the police. I am not new to this behavior, but this person and her advisors are obsessive, and it's genuinely frightening.
Poor darling. Poor little darling.
And then people were giving her sympathy. People were giving her sympathy, right? And they're going, "Oh my God, that's so bad. You should be going to the police. Like, if you don't feel safe and everything."
Maybe she'll become an advocate for Second Amendment rights in Australia. How about that?
Maybe. And then she's responding back to them. "Oh, thanks, David. The police have already paid her a visit on account of her threatening behavior towards a colleague of mine. I had hoped she'd moved on, but her advisors are obviously very happy with her conduct and she's digging in." I've never been visited by the police, ever. There's been no police interaction whatsoever. So flat out lies. This woman was defaming me on X. I still could, putting it in the back pocket, but advisors, it's mind-blowing.
You don't even have official advisors.
I wouldn't even call my head an advisor. Like,
You just do things.
I just do things.
Yeah.
But there's nothing has ever been towards her personally. And I don't know where she lives. I don't know anything like that. So how would I be stalking her? Why would I bother?
It's really simple. Basically, there was some attention getting shared out around on social media, and she wanted a bit more of that attention.
Yeah. And that was just before Trump got into, and then all of a sudden she was doing the whole, I'm not posting on X anymore. I'm going to Blue Sky. And then she came and posted all this on X. Typical lefty.
She just loves that Elon. She can't get enough of him.
Oh yeah. So that and then they started. She put up a post about how we love forests today. They're just trying to get forestry brought back in. She called me a rage baiter again, spreading misinformation and turning division through an anti-Great Forest National Park campaign. Worse, they're backed by powerful political interests.
Yeah, really?
The same ones who have pledged to restart clearfell logging if they regain power at the next election. Just look at who sponsored their political petition, the National Party. And that petition was started before I even started my group. So I had no say on who sponsored what or anything like that. Like, these people, they don't even do their homework. They're so dumb. They're just really dumb. Like the hair, that suits her, honestly, because she's just a typical blonde idiot. But
in your humble opinion, of course.
Then she went and made that. Then they started targeting me about, the Lake Eildon National Park, when they started doing the posts about Lake Eildon National Park and how I make money off Lake Eildon National Park because I clean houseboats that are on the lake. And the lake's got nothing to do with a national park. There's literally, it made no sense. And then everything that they said in that spruiking, the Lake Hilton National Park, I was able to just bring up the park's website and be like, that's closed. That doesn't work. That's like, have you even looked at this? You're an idiot. You're a literal idiot. Just do some research before you start, trying to push back against people, especially when you're against someone who like me, who, I really do dig in.
Yeah.
And then they went quiet for a long time because this was the last one. She was saying I was very active offline too. I'd be reviewing her behavior there also. Perhaps her funding is predicted on success in silencing those who hold a different opinion to her. I hope your poll helped you illuminate the support the group has for restarting logging, because that was when Michael put up a post about what people think about logging. We're not about logging. Logging's gone in Victoria, for F's sake. Like, this woman makes me rage.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't say our movement's got anything to do with the logging industry as such.
Nothing.
Me personally, I'd like to see it come back because of some of the benefits that it brings, but that's a different conversation.
My thing is just, I feel bad for the people who lost their jobs so suddenly.
Yeah.
And and fire mitigation. Everyone knows that I'm about fire mitigation.
Yeah.
So, but this woman is delusional, absolutely delusional. That I do not get funding from anyone with vested interests or anything like that. If I did, with the work we're doing, I'd be a millionaire.
I'd have a proper microphone.
Yeah. I would have a studio, not an office in my house. Like, come on. Oh, then the Great Northern thing happened.
Good old Great Northern.
So, we all know what happened with Great Northern. It's still happening. There was a post just yesterday that went up and everyone told them to get back in the naughty corner. They're not allowed to come out yet. But this was when I had to go. Remember Dee Madigan?
Yep.
When she got on bloody Sunrise, was it? And I took her on.
I've been watching all the media about it.
Yeah,
and then
Sunrise.
I thought, like you, something smells a little off here.
Something smells a little bit off. I wonder what that could be, Dee.
So I had a bit of a look into it, and I smell an astroturfing campaign.
You didn't have a look into it really at all, because everything you're about to say is wrong. But of course you'd smell a campaign, because you're the campaign manager of the Labor Party, which wasn't disclosed by today, was it?
It's about...
It's a little bit quiet on my end.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. But yeah, I took her apart. There was two parts to it, 6 minutes long, and I just ripped everything apart that she said. And people were copy and pasting the link onto her X account and everything like that. So that was a little bit funny. Then we did the was it Lardner Park Fall Drive show?
Yep.
Yeah, that one. That was fun. Had Daryl and Tara and Graham, my beautiful Graham. Had all of them out raising awareness at that one, which was great. Then the petition ended and the final amount came up and we got 40,000. So 10,000 more than the currently held Victorian record for a parliamentary petition, which is insane. We even outdid ourselves. So to stop the creation of any new national parks. So all these surveys that the VNPA and all that throw around of, when they grab, what was it, 1,500 people and ask them if they like national parks, and then come back and say that everyone wants new national parks because they skew all the the data and everything, and they say 80% want national parks.
Yeah, and it's not really an honest question, because if you pull me up on the street and go, "Hey, do you like national parks?" I'll probably go, "Oh, yeah."
The questions were so dumb in the survey.
Yeah.
They were literally like, "Do you like going out with your family in national parks?"
Yep, I do.
Yes, I do. Not would you like this? It's just so dumb. And that's what their whole argument is still to this day, that 80% want it, and there's only 5% that don't want national parks. And I'm like, well, what's the 5% when we've got 40,000 signatures on a petition?
Yeah.
Delusional. Anyway, that's Melina she did such good work. And then we had our Clean Up Australia Day, take 2. I didn't mention the first one.
No,
because
the first one wasn't exactly a big event in the end, but there was good coffee.
We got bagged out so bad by the Great Forest National Park people for that. They were like, yeah, there was like 4 people, and one of them was a political candidate.
Oh, really? I never saw that. Well, that would have been quicker on me then.
I'll have to send it to you because I was going through screenshots just before putting all this together, and I was like, I remember that they said that only 4 people turned up, and that was because I changed the date because we had that huge storm, and it was lucky that we did because that man actually died from a tree falling on him up at Kevington that weekend that I called it off. So I was very okay with my decision to change the weekend, but so we ended up doing the weekend after, so nobody really had any notice. And but there was we still had fun. We were going around picking up rocks and picking up rubbish.
Yeah, I want to know why it's a bad thing if a political candidate gets in and
because we're backed by political interests, powerful political interests.
Which one? Because I mean, the Libertarians and the Nationals aren't really known to be good mates.
No one's powerful in Australia politics.
Oh, well, like Labor.
No, not even they can do the things that they want to get done.
No, well,
they want us to turn into a socialist, commie, bloody nation, and they can't even get that done.
Well, we'll see how we go in another 3 years.
Yeah, we're stopping it. There's no way it's happening. But watch this space. But yeah, we had our group. We had a big turnout this time. There was Big River and Coopers Creek, Warby, Talangi, Wombat. It was great. I would jump back.
And I didn't do the second one because I thought political candidates probably shouldn't do community things.
Oh well, you did. You were the only one that turned up to the first one, so you're forgiven. What am I kidding? Yeah. So, what's the rest of this? Wombat. Everyone was just so great. Then we had the Hound Hunters. We got invited to the Hound Hunters microchipping day.
Yeah.
Remember how hot that was?
Yeah, it was all right. It was a mild +7 degrees, wasn't it?
I ended up getting really dizzy. I was not well, but it was a good day. It was a great day. Your one, the one photo that I got, and that's when they say that 80% of people want national parks, and the survey didn't even mention national parks.
I sent you a bunch of photos from Hound Hunters.
They've got me in them. I'm not using them. I told you not to put. I told you not to put me in the photos, and you did, so they're not getting used.
I didn't put you in the photos. You were in the way of my photos.
No. If you want
I was trying to get photos, and you kept being there.
If you want photos to be used, don't put me in them.
But don't be in the way of my camera.
Hey, maybe with all this forestry money we're getting, we could hire a professional photographer.
Oh, film crew.
Yeah. We could do. Oh, it's no limits.
Got to wait for that first check to come in.
You'll be waiting a while. But yeah, then I started to catch on to the point that, you know, these people, bush user groups don't support each other.
No.
They really don't. And it was really starting to piss me off, really. And I was like, if you people just united as one big group and fought for, like, the four-wheel drivers fought for the hunters and the hunters fought for the prospectors. And, you know, if you all just came together as one and united, all these different, like, organizations that are supposed to be, you know, politically backing all these people, all the bush user groups and everything, if they all just came together and united, it would, you know, and fought each other's battles together, it would work. So I started getting quite angry about all that. And so that's when I okay, guys, so after weeks of trying to work out how I was going to take this to a federal level, how we were going to make this louder, bigger, stronger, all of that, I've decided to take the leap, and I have joined the Australian Recreation Union, ARU. Yeah, so I joined the ARU, and I had to speed that up because it took too long. I hate looking at myself in videos.
So you looked about 10 years younger in that video. So, man, all this fighting's getting to you, Carly.
That's the other way around. I've got to use a filter. Oh, anyway, and then Tim and I started this podcast. That was our first thing.
Yeah, well, that was mostly for a little bit of fun and to give people an update. And
because we didn't have a name yet either, so we were just testing and playing around, weren't we?
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was episode 1, and now we're at episode 11.
Yep.
So yeah, and now we've got this emergency services levy that we still need to fight, which we need people to turn up to this protest about. So I'll throw that up again. The rally to attend, if you're still listening, please attend this rally. I'm really hoping I can get there. Don't know how, but
we'll discuss that a bit later. But guys, so Tuesday the 13th of May, that's tomorrow for us.
Spring Street, Parliament Steps, 11 a.m.
11. It doesn't matter if you're 10 minutes late, right? It's a rally, but numbers. When you have these rallies, you can become a laughing stock if there's only 10 or 15 people there. You're not so much of a laughing stock if there's a couple of hundred or even more.
Yeah,
right, preferably more, but you know.
And keep it civil, but
yeah,
just get there, just be there,
yeah. And you don't have to bring signs or dress up in fancy gear or anything like that. Having bodies there. If you can get there, be there, please.
Yeah. So then we got. Well, I got very busy with how to vote cards because the election was called.
Yeah.
And how much crap did I cop from people? You know, why are you telling people how to vote?
I don't know how many times I have to tell people. It's just some advice.
It's a guide.
My
it's
goodness.
how to use your preferences because you people don't know how to use them. But anyway, that was fun. That was so much work making all them.
It revealed. Well, once you'd done those, it revealed that there was a lot of people that really had no idea how the system worked.
And they used them. Used them. There was so many people contacting me, asking me for them. And it's pretty amazing that the outcome that can, from something so like it was a lot of work. It took me hours and hours and hours, all 38 electorates. But it was so worth it. So we did our episode with Warren Pickering. That was fun. I love Warren. I really hope he gets up in the Senate. I really do.
Yeah, there is.
It's between him and Labor.
Yeah. So there's a fair shot.
There's a very good shot, but I'm just so scared of Labor.
Yeah.
But Yeah, and we did the one with Jordan, which was great. He
no shot for him.
No, it's a shame, real shame.
I've been thinking about it. The only thing I think it comes down to with the Libertarians is they used to be called the Liberal Democrats.
Yeah, and nobody knows who they are yet.
A lot of people just don't recognise it. But it does seem to me there's something more than that going on. It might just be that people are looking around and going, hey, one nation's got the better chance, got to vote one nation, in which case, well, that's democracy. But yeah, certainly they must be scratching their heads a bit still.
I really feel for Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what the game's about.
Yeah,
he's put in the work.
But it was so great to have a chat with them. So then we started our voter education because people don't know how to vote, and that's come out in the results with Labor having a 34% primary vote, and it's called a red wave because they've taken over the entire federal election.
Yeah.
It's never been that low to get that many seats. So and I keep having to explain to people because they're like, oh, this is what you voted for. No, it was a third of Australia voted for Albo. The rest of us voted different ways, but a lot of people didn't know how to preference. So they put the ALP above anyone else. So they probably put Pauline Hanson One Nation number 1 and then put 2 ALP. That's how.
Yeah. I mean, that could be the case. Probably a lot of people did put the Liberals, like if you're going to vote One Nation, you're probably more likely to put the Liberals second than Labor.
Some people don't even know what the parties are about. Yeah. They just go by names, Yeah. It's look at how many people voted for the Sack Dan Andrews party.
I think the election was pretty clear that when it's between Albo and Dutton, Albo wins, and there's good reason for that.
He should have just stood firm on his convictions. That's all he had to do.
Yeah, and that's what Albo does, and people just go and look at it and go, well, I'll just go with the guy who seems to believe in what he's saying, even though he seems.
Yeah, but what he's believing in is because he's a commie friggin' socialist China takeover.
But he believes in it with conviction.
Yeah, because he's been brought up in the cult of the friggin' China Communist Party.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what we've got.
Yep. So that's it. It's going to be a fun fight for 3 years.
Yes. Well, we're going to get a lot of, like I said, we're going to have a lot of content.
That's it. If we're allowed to talk about it.
We'll find a way. Stuff that. So then we did our live voter education with Topher, which Topher was so beautiful. But then he went and bagged us out on his podcast, saying that the only reason why he went on ours was because of the debate being on, and he went on a podcast where only your mum and your dog would hear about it.
One of our mums and the dog. He did say later on, though, to be fair, there's probably a little bit more than just the dog.
Oh, I was like, Topher. And then I wrote in the comments, hi, we're the podcast that reaches a mum and a dog.
I'll put in the comments, yeah, I don't have a dog and my mum won't watch.
Yeah, my mum watched and my dog. It was right about one of us.
But Topher's like me. If he likes it, he'll give you a bit of a hard time. And
he's a crack up. I know. Yeah. I have a lot of love for Topher. A lot of admiration. He's an extremely knowledgeable person. If I had just the tiniest little amount of his brain in my brain, I would be, set. But then it's.
I think you do. But he's been studying these topics for a long time and gets a broader understanding. You're still just starting out. That's.
I just rant.
Yeah, but so does he.
Rant. No, but he's very. He's very what's the word?
Refined.
Yes, and see, I don't know big words that he uses also. I can't even say most of them. So he just comes across like exquisitely. Like he's just got this I'm so fulfilled.
Well, I think he's learned that. So his father used to be on radio and was a preacher and stuff, and I think he's learned that kind of that old radio accent, and it's not very common anymore. So it's kind of cool.
It is, and it's like I listen to him and Carly all the time. It was funny how I cheated on you with another Carly. I'm like, oh, and it's funny that we're both got a Carly that actually spells their names the same way. I don't find people that spell their name the same way as me.
Yeah, and she's pretty sassy like you too. Like when people annoy her,
she's got so much more composure. She does things composed. Like I've been watching them a lot, and I'm actually jealous because she can sit there and she can, get her point across without doing angry rants. She gets what's it called, spicy Carls, but that's where she just gets in and she's like, "You need to be doing this, 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 and this." Where I'm like, "Hey, motherfucker! Like, why are you not like? If you want this, you need to do." Like, I'm on a whole nother level. I've got no filter. She's at least got a filter. That's yeah.
That's all right.
Anyway.
I still think that there's a lot of similarity between you guys.
I want to meet her. I like the way that she takes on her lefty friends.
Well, you said we needed a photographer, so once all that money comes in from the forestry people, then we can.
Yes, we'll hire Carl's.
She's very good, by the way. If you haven't seen her work,
I have seen her work, and she's very, very, very accomplished. She's she's an amazing person. But anyway, so yeah, that's and this is what I was talking about with the primary vote for Labor. This is, how does a political party win in a landslide victory when this is what the rest of Australia looks like? So all of our cities are, I don't know whether they're Labor lovers or they just don't know how to preference.
Well, I think they know how to preference and they prefer left wing.
We need to break off. We really need to look into Brexit.
Brexit.
I'm actually really considering I'm going to start doing some deep diving because there has to be a better way. You people in the cities have screwed up our lives for long enough. I'm sick of it.
You know what I think happens? I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but I think people like that when they live in the city, you're so removed from the reality of.
Yeah, but that's why they shouldn't be voting for us.
It's the reality of nature, where food comes from, and what happens when sparks hit bright trees.
Yeah, and that's why they shouldn't be voting for us. We should have a rural vote because our lives are completely different out here, and they've got no idea at all.
They don't know what these solar panel bloody farms. I mean, they're not really farms. No. They're just eyesores, disgusting.
They don't care what goes on outside of the cities.
Yeah.
So, and they're voting for us. Like it makes me sick. So we really do need to find a way to get the rural voices out there because it's obviously not working with the Nationals. And yeah, I don't know how to do this, but something has to change before the next election because otherwise we're just going to be like we're going to be called Oz China.
Yeah.
China Oz.
Well, we'll just be South China.
Yeah, South China, exactly.
South Chinese island.
Yeah. We'll be. Oh God, communism, socialism. Ugh. Yeah, that was me having a rant. See, that's where I was watching that, and I was like, I am nothing like Carl's. Like she's got. There's going to be a spicy Carl's, and she knows when it's coming. She knows, and she still gets her words and everything right. She gets her point across in the right way. And I'm just like ranting and raving and spitting at the camera.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that podcast there.
It was quite a depressing podcast.
It was, look, and it was hard because it was hard to sort of see, well, where's the silver lining? I think the silver lining is the major loss.
Well, we hadn't known about the Greens at that point either. So I was able to pull myself out of this.
Yeah.
I'm probably pointing the wrong way, that way. I was able to pull myself out of being black-pilled. And I apologize for the ranting and the yelling.
Well, on the other hand, I mean, people want to see the genuine you, so you put that out there and they can see what it's like. You know,
you don't want to see that genuine me.
No, that's true.
It's scary. So what else have we got? Oh yeah, so yeah, Bant says it was climate change, the Jews, and too many memes. It's all the Jews' fault and climate change.
Why does everyone blame them for everything these days?
Because apparently that's what's okay in society. I still don't. I've been watching a lot about the Palestinian and Israeli war and what's been going on for the last 100 years with all of them, and it's crazy watching it from different. So I purposely go and watch like a lefty media, and then I'll purposely go and watch a right-leaning media source. So what's coming from one side of the media is completely anti-Israel for Palestine. All ignoring everything to do with Israel. I won't get into detail because I do not want to get into that, but
all that stuff.
But then the right side, they're saying, the complete opposite, but they're not saying anything about, like, there's no level, there's no balanced media there.
It's lies from the lefts and lies from the right, and
it's all just lies. Like, and if you actually look back on history and you go back and you watch what they're saying, they skip over so many different parts to suit their own narrative and their agenda. Like, no wonder there's people chanting in the streets of Melbourne for terrorists, because there's just all this different media getting around and it's brainwashing people. Yep. So I don't know how we.
But when the other side isn't honest either, that actually feeds into the opposite side again, because you go, well, I know they lied about that, therefore they're liars, but they haven't seen the lies from their own side yet. And it's one of those reasons, like, people ask me about something, I was like, I don't have really strong opinions. I think Israel has a right to defend itself. It's not in Australia. I don't really see what else I can say about it. I wish children would die.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what else to say.
And that's my position as well. Like, I don't have a side, but I do get a lot of people saying in the comments, like, well, so you're backing a Zionist or whatever. And I'm like, like, I'm just trying to get an understanding of where the left is coming from in this, because I want to be able to provide a balanced answer to them. But it seems like it's impossible. And I don't think they would listen anyway. But
I think it's none of our business in a lot of ways. You got to let these countries sort that stuff out.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah,
I just don't like to hear about the suffering, and I look at it as one of those things. Nothing I can do about it, so why consume my headspace?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what these people are doing, and they're chanting on the streets of Melbourne isn't helping anyone. on the ground over there.
No.
But all it's doing is messing up your own mental health and your own life because you're not doing anything productive. You're chanting every weekend in the middle of Melbourne and destroying our city. So
you feel so strongly about it. I don't care which side of the argument you're on. You can go over there and fight in the battles.
Exactly.
Go
be helpful.
Yeah.
Go be helpful. Go do something that's actually going to be effective.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get off that. So this is the last one. So this is what we've got coming up on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Our debate. That debate. I'll end up getting in trouble for saying that. Yeah, so that'll be we'll be debating Melina's going to be debating the No More National Parks petition that we helped put together, and we'll be in the gallery. I can't say my words anymore. Yeah, so there's going to be, I think there's about 5 of us that are going from our group.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there's 5. Yeah, and I'll be taking some notes. I'm going to do a bit of a debrief on it the next day about what happened, who said what, because I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching what people are saying when they're debating. Any interjections, I will be listening, and I will be calling you out.
Are we allowed to bring Jaffas?
Jaffas are gross.
Doesn't matter. They hurt when they hit you.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not allowed to do violent stuff.
That's not violent. I'm offering food.
Feeding them. No, just don't bring Jaffas. Bring M&Ms. They've got peanuts inside them. They're harder.
No, you're not allowed to feed the zoo animals. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is a bit of a circus. It's ridiculous. But let's just see if Carly doesn't get dragged out in handcuffs.
Don't tempt them. I just want to know, are we allowed to yell out and interject like they do to each other, or do we just get thrown out straight away even though they know that we're better?
I'm going to give it a go. If they do it, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to test it.
I reckon if you can do it really well, then we should actually just sign you up with the Labor Party to run.
And I'll just be on their side interjecting them. If they do start carrying on, I want to see if I get targeted. Like if us as citizens are treated differently to politicians in that actual moment. And it's only if they do, start carrying on like kindergarten children like they do. But I'm willing to be the human experiment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the way I see it means I get to go out sooner for a smoke and I'll wait for you guys, so I'm not too worried.
Hey, if I get arrested, I'm your ride. So what are you going to do?
Oh, if you get arrested?
Yeah.
I'll be right. Wander around the streets of Melbourne.
You're not going to be right. It's a cesspool down there.
Last time I wandered around in Melbourne, some homeless Sheila thought I'd stolen something out of her, and then she spat all over me. I don't know what she had in them. Oh, man, it was gross. The cops are standing there watching her trying to hit me, and I'm just sort of like blocking away, and I sort of look at the cops like, are you guys going to... No, they didn't come around until after she'd left. I think they were waiting to see whether I was going to knock her back, and then they'd have me.
They'd arrest you?
Yeah.
Because you're a dirty white male.
She had arms about as thick as, like, pretty thin. I just kept slapping her hand out of the way every time she tried to whack me. I wasn't too worried until she spat on me.
See, that's why you need a fire extinguisher.
Oh, I can carry around a fire extinguisher and just belt homeless chick in the face with a fire extinguisher. Is that what you're saying?
You spray them first.
Oh, okay.
Spray them first, then dong them on the head with it.
Yeah, none of that was necessary really at all.
I thought you would know that by now.
I just need to bring a face mask. You know those shields? A lot of people wearing them in COVID, just in case homeless people spit at me.
It's very sad that this is how we talk about Melbourne now, when Melbourne used to be a pretty iconic place.
What the hell happened to that city? Called socialism.
It's called socialism.
That's how we help the poor. We drive them all homeless.
Yeah, we make them reliant on the state, and
the state
everyone
fails.
reliant on the state, and then the state fails, and then we're Venezuela.
Yeah. Yay.
Bread lines.
But on a happy note, so that fight we were talking about, that started off with a lot of people saying it's a done deal. Even for me in my own head, I'm thinking, I've been trying to help raise awareness on this for a while. I watched Bush Users Group United trying to do stuff on this for a while. And I thought, you know what, people are too late waking up. It's a done deal. With that said, I still went, but let's fight it till the end. And I'm glad, because that end seems to be a lot further away than we thought at first. And get in the fight, guys. It's not over until the fat lady sings. And even then, slap the bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And it can all come from just being a Facebook group. Like we started out as just a Facebook group. Now we are literal stakeholders with the Victorian government about management of 8 million hectares of state forest in Victoria. Literal
it's a Facebook group bringing people together.
So don't ever don't ever think that you can't do anything because you're just one person, because all it takes is a group of people to come together, be big enough to affect an election or affect, if they were to riot, that it would cause an issue. All it takes is a little bit of being scared of that group, and you find you never know where you're going to end up. Like meeting with ministers, I've got politicians calling me all the time. We're stakeholders with the Victorian government. It's insane. So,
and the reason the bigger the group, the more change you have, is because elections do have impacts. Your vote does have an impact. The politicians know that. The only people denying it, quite frankly, are idiots. So, hang in there. It's not over.
It's never over. And we won't be stopping.
And if they turn it into a national park, then we start fighting for our rights.
Oh, gloves are off. Gloves are off. If that happens, like that, and this is why we've got our war chest behind us, because if we do need to make a lot of noise, we can.
Yeah.
So that's what all merch sales are for and everything. So if you haven't seen I've got a new merch store that I made. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, you should have had that ready to show us on the screen. But yeah, looks good.
I'll put the link in the description as well. Go check it out because I'm very proud of it. And help us help you, because all that money goes to doing flyers and stuff like that. And for now, it's pretty much just going to be a war chest sitting there for if they do say, yes, we're going to do this park, and we're just going to go, right.
Yeah, wham.
Splash, 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 splash.
I'll have some of that.
I'd like some of it too.
For a microphone.
For a microphone, okay. All right, so what do you got to say for your last little bit?
Well, yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a look at the merch store. Stay in the fight.
Love it. See you guys.
See ya.